All right, my new computer is here, and as you can probably tell from the size of this box, it is an iMac. So let me go ahead and get it unboxed, and I will get it set up on my desk, and we can take a look at it. All right, here it is. We can do a quick little examination. The screen looks to be in good condition without any cracks or, well, I guess there's something here. I believe that was in the listing, that little chip there in the corner, but the rest of it looks good. And if we turn it around, the backside looks good. You can tell from the ports, for you viewers who know your iMacs pretty well, that this is at least a 2017. So let me get this, let me give it a wipe down. The screen's a little dirty. And then I'm gonna plug it in on my desk and we're gonna power it on. All right, real quick, I want you guys to listen to this. And I know you're not really supposed to shake an iMac, but there's something rattling around inside of it. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. My guess is that, I don't know, maybe someone's been in there to upgrade something and didn't screw it back together. Not really sure, but either way, I'm gonna get it plugged in and we're gonna power it on and see what it looks like. All right, here we are at the setup screen, and it booted pretty quickly. The listing said this had an SSD in it, and that seems to be true. All right, here we are, and I'm a little worried because this is High Sierra, and this is supposed to be a 2019 iMac, and unless I'm wrong, which I could be, I thought High Sierra was before 2019. So I have a bad feeling this is actually a 2017 iMac. And on top of that, the USB-C ports are not working. They would not connect to my keyboard. I could not charge my iPad from it. Did not seem to work at all. So let's do some investigating here and see which iMac we actually have. I think it's a 2017, but I hope I'm wrong. Yes it is. 4K 2017. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here we go. It's got the i5 Radeon Pro 560. And what do we have? Yeah, a SATA drive. It sounded like someone had been inside this thing. And 8 gigabytes. Well, that's a bummer. I believe this was listed as a 2019. And I thought I was getting the 6-core i5 and the Radeon Pro 560X. Well, let me go look at that listing again, and I'll pull it up so you guys can see, and we will compare. This may have been a mistake on my part, but let's have a look. All right, here is the listing, and it's a 3.4 i5, which is what this is. 4 gigs DDR4, that's correct. 1 terabyte SSD, yes. Radeon Pro 560. And, wow, did I not check the serial number? EMC 3069. What is that? Let's look. If we find EMC 3069, wow. I guess I just completely overlooked this. Yeah, it's got that thing in the corner. What's the description say? Well, okay, I guess they were right. This is on me. I thought this was a 2019. but it's a 2017. So I need to figure out these USB-C ports now because those are not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the software here to Ventura, sign in my Apple ID, download some apps and stuff, try to figure out the USB-C ports, and then we're going to run through some benchmarks and see how well this thing performs. So after I do that, we'll be back. All right, I'm messing around in Disk Utility, and it's got a 1 terabyte Samsung 780 SSD, but then it's also still got the 28 gigabyte Apple SSD from the Fusion drive that this had before it was upgraded. And it still rattles. Listen. Yeah, like that's bad. All right, anyway, I'm gonna reinstall Ventura on here. And once that finishes, we'll be back. Also, while that's working, I wanna point out this damage here on the chin. You can see this metal is like bent up. Let's see if we can get it to focus. There, yeah. You can see it's taking a beating there on the bottom. All right, I got the Mac all set up and updated to Ventura, and I went ahead and ran some benchmarks. So Cinebench, we got 3355, and in Geekbench, single core and multi-core. Here is the Metal GPU score and the OpenCL GPU score. So I'm going to put these into a chart and compare them to my 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro that this computer is probably going to replace for my video editing. All right, here is the Cinebench and Geekbench 6 comparison between my 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro and the 4K iMac for this video. And you can really see there's not a big difference. And the iMac here has a 3.4 gigahertz i5, a 7th gen processor, while the MacBook Pro is running at a much lower clock speed. It's an i7 with hyperthreading, but it's a 4th gen Intel. And the MacBook actually performs better in Cinebench and Geekbench 6 multi-core, whereas this 4K iMac comes out ahead in only the single core score for Geekbench. And if we look at graphics performance, we see a huge difference here. The Radeon Pro 560 in this iMac does a way better job than the Intel Iris Pro that my MacBook has. And that is shown in these graphs. You can see the huge difference in especially Geekbench 6 Metal, but there's a big difference between the OpenCL score as well. So with that, I'm going to go and get some of these video clips into Final Cut Pro, and we're going to take a look at how well this thing handles rendering video, which is really the main reason why I bought this. All right, here we are. I'm doing a screen recording on the iMac, and I've got the video clips imported into Final Cut Pro, and I am going to see how well this performs. So if we take this, if we look at the unboxing clip here, I definitely want to speed this up and edit the audio for that. But I know right away, I can tell right here from powering on the iMac that I want that part sped up. So I'm going to blade that, go to where the iMac actually powers on, blade it again, and then take that clip, and we're going to speed it up to 8 times, say, let's see here. Then we're going to check the rendering progress, and it's honestly not that quick. All right, so that's finished. And I'm wishing that was faster. I thought this iMac was going to be a lot better than my MacBook Pro. Obviously, I was expecting to get a 2019 model, but even this 2017, I thought the much newer chip, the i5 7th gen, was going to perform a lot better than the i7 4th gen in the MacBook. So now I'm going to try again. We're going to speed this clip up. No, sorry, delete that. And now we're going to take the setup process and speed that up as well. So for this one, we're going to do custom, maybe 1500%. No, that probably is a little too quick. We'll do 1000% and let that render. And that is going to take its time. Wow, okay. That's really slow. Wow. All right, well, that's going to finish, and I'm going to do add some other clips in here while that works. And then we'll get an overview here of the iMac. All right, so all in all, I was expecting to get a 2019 iMac, and I ended up with a 2017, which I realize is my fault. I should have looked at the listing a little bit closer. But either way, this thing has a gorgeous 4K display, and I'll use it for some other stuff, but primarily for video editing, which it'll be decent for. It's probably not going to be much better than my 2015. But what I do need to do is I'm going to open it up because I think the SSD that was upgraded in this thing is just loose and rattling around. And while I'm in there, I'm going to upgrade the RAM from 8 gigs to probably 16, maybe 32, depending on prices. And I did a little research, and it turns out the USB ports, the USB-C ports, which for me are not working, people have had that issue before. And it seems like when you take this thing apart, if you don't push the logic board all the way in, kind of like snap it into place again, then those ports are ever so slightly too far into the computer. So when you plug stuff in, it doesn't reach all the way. So then there's no connection. And that, I think, is why mine are not working. So I'm going to take care of those things while I get this thing opened up. And I'll probably make a video about that as well. But for now, that's been a look at my new iMac. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next one.